Hey, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to Life Mastery Decoded for women and women entrepreneurs, where I help you decode the struggles in your life in the areas of health, wealth, and relationships with mind mastery and meditation tools and techniques so that you can live the life that you're proud of. Welcome to today's podcast. Hello, ladies. Welcome to today's episode where we are going to be talking about your basic needs. I hope today finds you well and empowered in your life. And if not, today's episode should open your eyes to why people behave the way they do and things that you can do about it. When I worked at a school, it was the year 2000, I started a new job. And I was a parapro, short for paraprofessional, which basically just means anything we need you to do, you're going to go do it. And it was at a middle school that then later became a high school, but it was a brand new school. It was built and began in the year 2000. And this school was built on relationships, and it was the foundation was built on understanding why other people behave the way they do, what is their basic need, and what we could do as teachers and professionals in the school is to help deepen those relationships with using these principles. The 5 basic needs are needs that you have that you're born with. They do not change throughout the course of your life. It is like the DNA makeup of what it is you need and why you need it, and then you act a certain way to get that need met. The 5 basic needs are power, security, love and belonging, fun, and freedom. And I'm going to go into each one. But they do not change through the course of your life. The only thing that changes is how you get the need met. So take a young kid, for example. They're in the grocery store and they want a candy bar and they're not getting the candy bar. And mom says no. What do? If they have a high power need, they're going to throw their body on the floor and they're going to flip out. And they're going to throw a tantrum until mom caves in and gives them the candy bar, which I recommend you don't do, by the way. So, but now fast forward, that kid still has a high power need. He just doesn't get that need met by throwing his body on the floor. He might yell. He might throw things around if he's not learning how to meet that need in his life on a regular basis. So let's define each of the needs. The first one is power. This is the need to be in charge, the need to lead, the need to get what you want when you want it and get it right now. So it's all about power, authority, being in charge. Okay, the next one is security or survival. This is the need to bank your money, and it's all about food and water and shelter and money, and it's taking care of your things, your body, maybe your kids, but it is all about living but not living like going out and adventure, because sometimes your high survival need people do not spend money because they're afraid if I spend it that I don't have it. Right? They're all about full-time jobs. They're all about 401ks, insurance on the car, insurance on everything really. But they lease cars, they buy houses, they don't want to rent, they lease because they don't want, they want someone else, plus they're new, the cars are brand new, they never have an older car. They're also very concerned with the schedule. They want to know what's happening, when to go, what to do. And so entrepreneurship, I would probably bet if you are an entrepreneur, you do not have a high security need. But we're going to decipher those in a second. The next one is love and belonging. Love and belonging is being a part of a community, wanting to be accepted and a part of something bigger. These people volunteer for everything. They are a part of their church community, their school community, maybe the hospital or caretaking facilities, Goodwill, Father Fred. These are all different organizations. And they volunteer their time. They just want to be a part of this community and that community. Their calendars are always full. Okay. The next one is fun, a high fun need. Now, interestingly enough, this is about having fun. It's fun and adventure and getting out and going places, but it's also about learning new things, always like taking in information and applying it to your life immediately. And the last one is freedom. The high need for freedom is no commitment. They do not get into committed relationships. They do not stay home in one place very long. They are like gypsies. They love their freedom. They also are filling our prisons around the country because don't tell me what to do. I can go as fast as I want. I can do anything I want, and you're not going to do anything about it. And so what they end up losing, the thing that they want the most, because they end up behind bars. Typically, if you go down the road of breaking the law and not wanting to do what people are telling you to do. So how does this play into your life? Well, the first thing I'm going to ask you to do, and the first thing that I did, was back in probably 2000 or 2001, I was in a relationship that was obnoxious and disrespectful. And I did talk about it in my previous podcasts, but we both had high power needs and we both had high freedom needs. So now you know what mine is, you know what hers was. And it was detrimental to our relationship because both of it, we argued like crazy because I had to make my point. She had to make her point. She wanted that freedom to be single, but then also be in a relationship, which if you've ever been in a relationship like that, you're not going to be in it for very long. And it doesn't really work out. So that was very frustrating. And obviously I was not in that relationship for very long, but when you're, so I try to bring this information home. So I'm learning this information at the school. We're applying it. We're deciphering ourselves. We're trying to figure out how we fit in. Oh, that's why I do that. That's why I act that way. Because your behavior, all of your behavior is to get a need met. So if you have a full-time job and you hate to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to drive or to get up and get ready and then drive to that job, but you do it anyway, and you've done it for 20, 30 years, you probably have a high security need because you want the security of knowing that you have a job and a consistent paycheck, and you don't have to take risks, and you don't have to figure out what to do a podcast on in hopes that, your ad's going to sell your program. I mean, you just go to work, you do the job, and you come home. If you stop at the grocery store every other day, you have a high security need. But as you're deciphering that, so you're looking at your behavior, you can start to recognize which one of these needs are you trying to meet? Which one are you behaving to meet? So I'm going to encourage you or challenge you, if you want to find some real transformation in your life and to figure out some more information about you, is to write these 5 down, and then decipher them, just like we did in the 5 love languages in episode 12, is write them down and rank them. So do I have the need to be in charge? And if the answer is like, for me, mine is like a 16. I love to be in charge. I love to be like I love being on stage. I love being the lead. If you put me in a group and the topic is something I'm comfortable with, then I will be the team leader. I will help to lead. So I'm like a 16 in the need to be in charge and the power need. So what is it for you? If I put you in a group and I say, we need this task done, do you take charge? Do you take the lead? And if the answer is no, and it's absolutely not, and I wait for someone else to take the lead, then your answer is probably 1. Okay, the next one, security or survival. Do I go to the grocery store all the time? Do I have a leased vehicle? Do I have money in the bank? Do I always have money in the bank? Do I save money when it comes in? So all of these things lead to, that would be a resounding yes. Amy has a very high security need, has a 401k. She has a job that she stays at for years and years and years. She's very good at what she does. And I wouldn't be able to do what I do without having her as my partner and her having that high security need, because she keeps us grounded. She keeps us, the money comes in and keeps food on the table. I'm like, if I had kids and I didn't have Amy and, Cameron's like, hey, can I eat dinner? I'm like, didn't you eat yesterday? Like, you have to eat. Like I most of the time forget to eat because like right now it's 3 o'clock and I haven't eaten lunch yet. And I ate breakfast at, 11. So most of the time I just forget. I just get busy. Mine is not a security need. It's not that I don't want to survive. It's just that is not such a need that I behave to get met. But my power need is. The next one is love and belonging. Do you want to belong to communities? Is your calendar full? Do you build communities and you just absolutely love to be a part of it? And you love to be a part of, build like people coming together for a greater purpose and a greater cause, whether it's church or the hospital or, like Goodwill or helping less fortunate or anything, then yours is a 5. If you really could care less about even ever seeing another person in your life, you're probably a 1. Fun. Do you love learning? Do you love having fun? Do you love going on adventures? Do you love being a part of things? Then you're a 5. If you're not and you could care less, you watch TV all day and a life of boredom suits you, then you're a 1. Freedom. Are you okay with committed relationships? Not committed relationships? Are you like not really in a committed relationship and you're afraid to get married and you don't even, you don't get into even a 2-year cell phone contract, you don't want to be tied down, like that just weighs you down, then you're probably a 1 for freedom. Do you love to travel? Do you move houses often? Do you rotate through your intimate relationships often? All of that leads to that you don't have, or that you do, I'm sorry, that you do have a high need for freedom. Then after you rate yours, now decipher maybe some of those relationships you're having a hard time with. And rate theirs. Like, okay, so, my son has, oh yeah, he has a high love and belonging need, which is why the kid he can't find anything to do on his own in his room by himself. Now, for me, I could spend my entire life in my room by myself. So I do not have a high love and belonging need. However, in my business, I do love to create communities of women that have a commonality, like women and women entrepreneurs. And I love like the idea generating from that. But if I'm controlling that, then it really isn't me being a part of the community. It's me building the community, which fills my high power need. And then me being an entrepreneur fills my high fun need or my high freedom need. And I want to say fun and freedom because fun, I love to learn, but freedom because I love to be an entrepreneur and I love to kind of chase things like that. But I love committed relationships. Like I've been with Amy for 10 years and I just love it. So I kind of maybe a 4 and a 5 on fun and freedom. But anyway, so you figure out what yours are and then figure out what those relationships are. And then now what do I do to meet those needs? So here's a perfect example. If you have a kid, if you have a child who has a high power need and or a high freedom need, that's going to be a hard time parenting for you. Now, because I have a high freedom need and I have a son who has high love and belonging, when I'm home by myself, like I said, I could spend all day long alone and become perfectly content because it's a freedom thing. I get to do anything I want whenever I want, right? Within these parameters of this relationship. I don't want you to think that I'm stepping outside. I don't mean that, but I just mean that when I'm home alone, I can do anything I want, right? Well, when he's here, he wants to do anything he wants, but he wants to do it with me, which then restricts my freedom, but it fills his love and belonging. So now we have to, and it's been there's been some times where our relationship has been tumultuous, especially as he's getting older and he's communicating these things, as I'm like, can you go hang out in your room for like, I don't know, 6 hours or go do something else over there for 6 hours? Because I'm going to be over here for 6 hours recording and working on my business and playing with my Harry Potter stuff. And he's like, I could do all that with you because he wants to be part of the community. And with one other person, to him, that's a community because being by himself is like torture. So how do we balance that? Well, I have to go back into the 5 love languages and I have to spend quality time with him. If I can do that, then I can fill his bucket and then that way I can have some time on my own. So it's a little bit of a balancing game. But high power, when you have high power need kids, my biggest suggestion for you, if you are struggling with your high power need kids, whether you're a teacher and it's in your classroom or whether they're your own kids, is giving them choices. High power need and freedom. High power need, high freedom, giving them choices. And this is the only one that I'm going to spend this much time talking about because the other ones are a little bit easier to deal with, right? Even when the other ones I think you guys can figure out on your own. But certainly if you have questions, reach out to me on Facebook, on Instagram, find me, ask me, I will help you. But high power, high freedom, these are the harder, and which are the ones that I have. So I know that I'm hard to deal with. I know that I can be hard to be in a relationship with. But at the same time, because I know this information, I am able to sustain my relationships for longer periods of time and create happiness within the relationship. I only dated one person that had a high power need, and it was the shortest relationship I ever had. And then I find that I do better as an entrepreneur is dating somebody who has a high security need, because then they are able to kind of hold the foundation of be the family hub. And then I'm able to fit on top of that hub is my entrepreneurial spirit of power and freedom. Does that make sense? So, but giving your kids choices, if you happen to be a parent with a high power need kid, is just any time words come out of your mouth is any kind of a command or a direction for them, is make it a choice. And here's how this is going to go. Let's say you want them to take a shower today and they don't want to take a shower or a bath or whatever. Is you can say something like, do you want to take your shower before dinner or after dinner? Or do you want help with your shower, or do you want to do it by yourself? Wherever their capabilities and their skill level is. Okay, then the next one, if you have two choices, like you want them to get dressed in the morning to get going to school, is do you want to wear the blue shirt or the green shirt? Okay. Do you want peas or carrots? Do you want to take out the garbage, or do you want to do the dishes? Giving those kids choices allows them the freedom and the power of their choice within the parameters that you set. Now, the key to this, and please listen closely, is you have to be okay with whatever choice they choose. So here's an example. If you're going to church and that son or daughter is throwing a fit and doesn't want to go to church with you, you can't say, do you want to go to church or do you want to stay home by yourself if they're 5? Because if they say, I want to stay home by myself, in order to gain their trust and to really make this work and be effective, you have to leave them home by themselves. And we all know that that's not going to work out well. So whatever choice you give them, you have to be able to follow through with that choice. So we're going to church. Do you want to sit by me or do you want to sit by Dad? Do you want to ride on this side of the car? Or do you want to ride on that side of the car? Do you want to wear this dress or that dress? Do you want to wear this shirt or that shirt? Do you want help getting your shoes on? Because the end goal is they're going to church, but you want to give them choices and choices and choices and choices the whole entire way, because they feel like then they're in control. And ultimately, in order to create happiness, we have to get our needs met. In order to create happiness, we have to get our needs met. Now, these needs, these 5 basic needs, it is our responsibility to meet those. So I have a high power need. I need to look at my life and say, what are the things that I can do that fulfill that need? I have a high freedom need or a high fun need. What are the things that I can do to fulfill that? Because if I get deep into parenting and I'm just like, okay, brush your teeth, put on deodorant, clean your room, here's your laundry, do the dishes, take out the trash. If I'm constantly doing that, that becomes no fun. But I can be a really fun person. I love to go on adventures. I love to try new things. I love to learn new things. I love to go exploring, go on quests. I love to treasure hunt, whatever. Do something that's different. Now, if I had a family who did not do that with me and didn't want to, then it is up to me to create that on my own, because I can't get that need met and be relying on somebody else to meet that need for me. It is my job to get that need met. Okay? Or to communicate. Same as the 5 love languages. It is my job to communicate how I want to receive love from you. Or here's how I like it, right? I like gifts, but I don't like flowers. I like Harry Potter stuff, but I don't like Star Wars. I don't know why people think Harry Potter and Star Wars go together. They don't, for anybody who thinks they do. So I will continue to touch on this throughout other and future podcasts, but this absolutely, unequivocally, and I love that word so much, changed my life and all of my relationships. With these 2 things, the 5 love languages and the 5 basic needs. This is a book, it's called Choice Theory by Dr. William Glasser. And I will put a link in the description so you can go find this book. But there's also tons of information online just to get the gist. But this was absolutely the foundation that I build all of my relationships on, all of them. And when I was at work and I was a manager and I had staff underneath me, I would find out, even just by communication, getting to know them, find out what their love language was, find out what their high basic need was, and then I would deliver my information and build my relationship on that foundation for them, how they wanted to receive that communication. And it was perfect, because when you fulfill their needs, when their buckets are filled, they will do anything for you. And I'm not using this as a manipulation. I'm just talking about deepening your connections and your relationships with others in ways that you communicate with them in the way that their love language is, but also fulfilling their need as in their 5 basic needs. Because if I have a high security need kid and he's constantly asking me what time's lunch, I better make it as consistent as possible so he can start to depend on me and start to rely on me. And that's Brandon. He's our son who has autism, has a very high security need. He always wants to know what the schedule is, always wants to know when lunch is. It's 2 seconds after breakfast. What time is lunch? What am I having for lunch? Where am I going today? What am I doing today? When will I be home? And we have to answer those questions and give them a calendar and fulfill that need. Otherwise, we have crabby kids, and nobody likes crabby kids. Okay? So, but use this information, figure out what yours is, and then start to apply it on those relationships you want to deepen. And I look absolutely forward to seeing you in the next episodes to come. Take care. Thanks for listening, and if you liked this episode, please take the time to like and share. Also, please visit me on my other social media pages. I'm on Instagram, Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. I'm on Facebook, where we have this community titled Life Mastery Decoded, and it's a community of women and women entrepreneurs where we come together to support one another in sharing our successes and struggles. You can also check out my YouTube channel, where I share my teachings and my personal journey, and it's simply titled Jen Mack, Jenmac. Have a great day, and I hope to hear from you.